Ayodhya chapter 75. Till now we have seen 55 different symptoms that Bharata mentions to Mother Kaushalya to convince her that he had nothing to do with the exile of Lord Rama. Symptom 56 is mentioned in verse 57. Trishnartam sati paniye vipralambena yojayet labhet tasya yat papam yasya aryo anumate gata. May the one who counseled the exile of my esteemed brother acquire the sin in the same way a person who in possession of water does not give it to one suffering from thirst acquires it. So this is pretty straightforward. If a person is suffering from something and you have the means to end that suffering and yet you don't do it, then it is a huge sin. And we have to remember that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself says that he is a taste of water. And if we don't give water to a person who's very thirsty, then we are not giving him a taste of Lord Krishna. And that person will continue to believe that the Lord is not merciful to him. And that is the second layer of understanding, that we should not deprive anyone of the resources that the Lord has directly given us. So this is a very important sin, and Bharata says that the person who has sent his brother into exile has not understood the kindness of the Lord, and that the Lord's love has to be freely distributed to those who seek it. The Lord's resources have to be distributed to the people who want it. Symptom 57 is mentioned in verse 58. Bhaktya vividha maneshu margam ashritya pashyata tasya papena yujyeta yasya aryo anumate gata. May the one who counseled the exile of my esteemed brother acquire the sin in the same way a person acquires while giving one-sided judgment between divided religious disputants. So let's say that there are two religious factions, there are two disputants, and they have chosen a particular umpire. Now, if the umpire were to secretly instruct one of them in the means of overcoming his enemy out of love towards him, and then passes off the judgment towards his favorite faction, then he is not performing his duty as a judge, which is to be impartial to both factions. And that is a huge sin. A judge has to be completely impartial. Bharata is also accusing Kaikeyi of being partial towards one side and punishing the other side. Of course, there is no dispute between Rama and Bharata, but Kaikeyi subliminally chose her own son and she decided to shove Rama away. And that is a huge sin. And Bharata is saying that this is equivalent to a person who is not capable of giving impartial judgment. Thus, Bharata describes 57 different types of sins attached to a person who conspired to send Rama into exile. Now we are going to see how Kaushalya behaves. How does she respond? We should remember that Bharata started talking about the various symptoms because Kaushalya asked him to prove that he did not have anything to do with the exile of Lord Rama, Sita and Lakshmana into the forest. And we have already seen that Kaushalya knows exactly what is in Bharata's mind, and the reason why she speaks a little harshly is so that the world understands. Now, Bharata has given 57 different types of sins that a person has committed if he or she has conspired to send Rama into exile. Now, immediately the world knows that Bharata has not committed any of these sins. Therefore, he had nothing to do with the exile of Rama. But Bharata is so anguished after speaking so many different types of sins. He's so anguished. And we will see his immediate reaction in verse 59. Vihinam pati putrabhyam Kaushalya parthivatmaja evam ashvasayaneva dukkharta nipapataha. Thus did Bharata seek to exculpate himself in the eyes of Kaushalya and soothe her wounded spirit, who had lost at one stroke her husband and her son. But the effort was too much for him, and he fell senseless on the ground. So Kaushalya was without Pati and Putra, and Parthivatmaja, that means the son of the king, that is Prince Bharata, wanted to ashvasan or soothe or console Kaushalya, but then he, with dukkharta, with a lot of sorrow, he fell down, nipapataha. Now Kaushalya has proven to the world that Bharata is completely sin-free. He is an anagha. Now Kaushalya responds in verse 60. Tatah tu shapatai kashte shapamanam achetanam Bharatam shoka santaptam Kaushalya vakyam abravit. Then Kaushalya spoke the following words to Bharata, who fell unconscious, consumed with grief, who had just uttered formidable imprecations. So Valmiki is calling Bharata's number of symptoms as kashthe shapate, very formidable, very difficult imprecations. And he was achetanam, he was distraught, he was without any chetana. And he was shoka santaptam, he was tormented with grief. The grief of separation from his brother, the grief that due to the exile of Rama, his father died, and the grief that his mother did all this for his sake, or so she claimed. And Bharata is shoka santaptam, he is extremely tormented with grief. And Kaikeyi is not able to console Bharata. Bharata is consoled by Mother Kaushalya. In verse 61, she says, Mama dukkham idam putra bhuya samupajayate shapate shapamano hi pranan uparunatsime. Oh, darling son, by swearing on such oaths, you are choking the very breath of my life, and my suffering has grown still more. Kaushalya is basically saying, enough of these terrible vows and abjurations which bind you hard and cause you intolerable pain. I see not the slightest necessity for it. You but rend my heart with blows even keener. So 2 verses ago, Valmiki said that Kaushalya is Pati and Putra Vihin. But then Kaushalya says, Oh Putra, Mama Putra, my dear son. So Kaushalya says this, Oh son. So even though Rama is her most beloved son, there is no shortage of her love towards Bharata as well. And she says that Bharata's words are choking her very life. Prana uparunatsime. It's choking her very life. And she does not want him to take any more of this shapat or those painful oaths. दिष्ट्या न चलिता धर्मात् आत्मा ते सहा लक्ष्मणः वत्स सत्य प्रतिज्ञो मे सताम लोकान avapshyasi. O beloved son, fortunately your mind is unswerved from the path of righteousness. You being truthful to your promise shall attain the world of virtuous men along with Lakshmana. There are three very important things to note over here. The first one is that she once again calls Bharata as her son, Vatsa. And in the Vedas, if a concept is iterated over and over again, it means that there is a particular emphasis as to why that is being repeated. And Kaushalya repeats. In the previous verse, she called him a putra. In this verse, she's calling him a vatsa. So she's repeating that concept to drive home the fact that she indeed truly loves Bharata as if he were her own son. The second point is that Kaushalya iterates Bharata has not swerved from the righteous path. Nachalita dharmat, it is not moved from the righteous path. And she also calls him Satya Pratiknya, that means endowed with fortitude, with nobility. And since she says that Bharata is always following the righteous path, she basically says that she knows very well that his soul is filled with utter devotion to Rama and will never swerve from the path of virtue trod by his forefathers of glorious memory. Another subliminal message that she is conveying is that she knows that Bharata is true to his word and no one knows him to go back upon it. Bharata has already promised Kaikeyi that he will go to the forest to beg Rama to return, and Kaushalya is now echoing Bharata's statements that she knows that Bharata will do that. She knows that Bharata will go to the forest and he will beg Rama to return. She also knows Rama and she knows that Rama is not going to return. So Bharata had already said that if Rama does not return, he too is going to stay in the forest. Of course, he changes it when Rama asks him to rule Ayodhya. And we also know that Bharata stayed in Nandigrama for 14 years till the return of Rama into Ayodhya. But Kaushalya is saying that she knows Bharata. She knows that he is extremely righteous. And being righteous is another synonym for loving Rama. Now the third point is Kaushalya says that Bharata will obtain the same world as Lakshmana. Satam lokan avapshyasi saha Lakshmanaha. You will obtain the world of the blessed along with Lakshmana. This has two different implications. The first is that we have already learned in the previous chapters of Ayodhya Kand, when Sita, Rama and Lakshmana leave to the forest, all the people say that the most fortunate of all women is Sita, the most fortunate man is Lakshmana, because he gets to serve Rama and Sita in the forest. He gets to follow them into the forest and he gets to serve them. So, Kaushalya says that even though Bharata is not currently following Rama into the forest, he is just as blessed because he has mentally always followed Rama. There is another implication as well. Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrughna, all four of them are the avatars of Lord Vishnu. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is very clearly said that Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrughna are the avatars of Vasudev, Aniruddha, Pradyumna and Sankarshana. So they don't particularly have to worry about their next world and karmic reactions and so on and so forth. But still, Kaushalya says that the same place that Lakshmana occupies, you too occupy the same place. What is Lakshmana's place? Always at the feet of Lord Rama. That is Lakshmana's blessed world, Satam Lokan. The blessed world of Lakshmana is always at the feet of Lord Rama. So Kaushalya says that, oh my dear son, Vatsa, you are also at the feet of Lord Rama already. You don't have to worry. Bharata is so full of grief that his brother is now in exile because of him. And Kaushalya is soothing Bharata by saying that, oh, my beloved son, you and Lakshmana are on the same platform in Rama's eyes. Or his love for you has not diminished in any way. Verse 63. Iti uktva cha ankamaniya bharatan bhratra vatsalam parishvajya mahabahun ruroda brisha dukkita. After having addressed Bharata, who is very affectionate towards his brother in this way, Kaushalya drew the mighty armed one onto her lap, clasped him to her breast, and cried out with extreme grief. Previously, Valmiki called Bharata as Dukkha Santapta, and now he calls Kaushalya as Brisha Dukkhita, one with extreme grief, and she is Ruroda, she is crying out. Because previously Bharata cried out, and now she's consoled Bharata, and now she puts him on her lap and then hugs him and cries out. Now how does Bharata respond? Verse 64. Evam vilapamanasya dukkhartasya mahatmana mohatcha shoka samrodhat babhuva lulitam manaha. Lamenting thus, the great-souled Bharata, distraught on account of grief, felt himself about to swoon, with his mind crushed by the burden of grief. So Valmiki uses some very strong adjectives. Dukkhartasya, shoka samrodhat, mohacha. He's about to swoon. He is so caught up in grief. He is bound by the burden of grief. He is lulitam. He is crushed by the burden of grief. So these are some very strong adjectives, and Valmiki iterates this over and over again to let us know the level of sadness that was oppressing Bharata at the moment. And the sadness was caused by the separation from Rama. He was not sad that he could not use the kingdom. He was not sad about anything else. He was sad that he was separated from Rama. So this dukkha, this shoka, this vilapam, this lulitam, all these are completely transcendental, because this grief is caused by the separation from Lord Rama. And it's so beautiful that Bharata is able to show this type of emotion for his beloved Rama. Verse 65. Lalapya manasya vichetanasya pranashta buddhe patitasya bhumau muhur muhur nishvasata cha gharman sa tasya shokena jagam ratrir. Bharata, his heart torn with various griefs and conflicting emotions, his senses distraught, fainted away and spent the livelong hours of the night in sighs and woeful lament. He lamented muhur muhur, again and again. The sighs were nishvasata and gharmam, deep and warm. and he has lost his senses, vichetanasya, and he is lamenting, lalapyamanasya, and his mind is obscured, pranashta buddhe. And even in this obscured mind, baffled mind, full of lamentation, he's clear about one thing, and that is his love for Lord Rama. And that is the most important trait of Bharat. This concludes the 75th chapter of Ayodhya Kand. Mangalam Kaushalendraya Mahaniya Gunaptiye Chakravarti Dhanurjaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam.